That is a charge called homicide, felony murder. It is life without parole. It requires a DNA sample to be taken upon arrest.
Sue, the parents, both in their late 20s, have been behind bars months longer than their daughter was alive.
This video contains the interrogation of a man who starved his infant daughter to death. Child Protective Services became concerned with the home of Seth Welch and Tatiana Fasari as early as 2014. The presence of THC was found in the system of their newborn child, but nothing further was done at the time. The couple managed to avoid further scrutiny by never taking their children in for medical care. This worked for them until 2018, when the death of their youngest daughter, Mary, became the focus of a police investigation. Mary was nearly a year old, yet she weighed only 8 pounds. The county sheriff testified that the family home was unhygienic during the initial investigation. He cited evidence of vermin, insects, and mold. The doctor who performed the autopsy stated that the infant was suffering from chronic malnutrition, which he believed was caused by the withholding of food and water.
Man, sorry about that. We were in there with Tatiana. It took me a while to get through it. So.
Let me give her a chair.
Not long.
Seth, I don't know if you remember my name or not. It's Jason. This is my sergeant. Same name, Jason. Different last name.
Seth, I want to talk. I wasn't in on when you guys were speaking. I'd like to just get some background information just on your marriage, all that kind of stuff, if you're ever doing that. I know earlier you talked to these guys in the car and they advised of your rights. Just due to the simple fact that we're sitting here in the sheriff's department interview room, those same rights still apply. Do you remember those rights? You want me to read them to you again? Was the card that they shown to you, Clark, the same card as this? I'll stick that in front of you just as a refresher so you have them if you need them, but I'm sorry you're going through this. I told you that earlier, but how long have you, is it Tatiana, right? I can keep it
Tatiana.
Tatiana. How long have you guys been married?
I don't know how long we've been married for, like 3 years. March 2015, I think.
Okay.
We've been together since September 2011.
Okay, and are all of your children your guys' children? Okay.
I am very anti-medical industry is because of what happened with her birth. She coughed one time, and so they said that they had to keep her under observation for 72 hours to make sure she didn't have a breathing problem. She didn't have a breathing problem. She coughed one time to clear some birth fluid out of her lungs.
Right.
And they kept us under observation for 72 hours.
Oh, wow, you're paying for it?
Of course, yeah, the bill was about $15,000. So, so that was kind of a kick in the rear. And then afterwards, we had some problems where I actually had a doctor make a fraudulent CPS claim, and I actually forged paperwork and stuff like that. And I tried to make a complaint about it, but nobody listens.
That was also more of a get-rich scheme, wasn't it? Kind of
Yeah.
like I'm gonna make some money off from a product that someone really doesn't need.
Yes. He issued two separate flavors, forms of paperwork. One that had a bunch of notes on it saying all sorts of bad healthcare things we were doing wrong without a CPS person, and the copy of the paperwork he gave to us that said she was fine. So, so that was about my last straw with it.
Was that to do with the helmet? And is that so it all started with, if I'm right, it all started with the helmet.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
well, it all started with the cough, but to the helmet. I'm
not a big fan of a lot of the immunization stuff, and so I kind of balked against that, and they didn't like that either. They even got to the point where they, the first time we changed doctors, they called CPS on us just for changing doctors, because the doctor we were seeing was all the way in Byron Center.
Most people have had at least one negative experience with the medical industry, especially in the area of expense. However, it is their job to ensure that infants are receiving the proper care. And when parents set off red flags that may not be the case, certain steps have to be taken.
From Cedar Springs. So they called CPS on us because we changed doctors and didn't give them enough notice. Or
Didn't give who enough notice?
I'm done with medical stuff. We're home birthing. It's
the way to go anyways, isn't it? And everything was kind of okay, but there was, both of you had done some research and you weren't too keen on immunizations. And then come along the helmet. You guys wanted to get a second opinion on the helmet, so you don't need anything. And so you chose not to get a helmet, and then that's kind of when the CPS referral came along, and the failure to thrive type referral, if this is sounding correct.
Infants tend to grow rapidly for the first year in both length and weight. At the time of Mary's death, she was 10 months old and still weighed the same as a newborn infant. This lack of growth indicates an underlying health problem, neglect, or a combination of both factors.
Like exactly the same? Wow, what's the odds of that?
Yeah, and she was even earlier too. That's why I just didn't. It never, bothered me too much that she was skinny because she came out.
Yeah, yeah. So, Annie, when did it like dawn on you that she's thin?
Oh, just when she came out. She had just been up pacing around all night, and then baby started sliding out. And things are a lot easier when you do them at home, I'll tell you what.
Well, yeah, you don't have to drive anywhere.
Yeah. And the position they put you in the hospital is very, just bad medicine, just whatever.
What position are you at home?
And you just stand up.
Do you really?
Yeah, and the gravity just shoots the baby right now. They don't have you up, facing upward, pushing against the gravity. It makes no sense.
No, it actually would make sense if you think about it.
Yeah.
Never seen it. So you have to just kind of be under there, like you're like the quarterback.
Yeah, she got up there. She was late for the delivery. She checked over the baby, said she's healthy. And,
Is that what she does? A midwife, they kind of tie off their tubes or whatever it is they have to do, and yes. They do the dirty work that anybody could do. It's just a lot of us aren't. A lot of us just aren't willing to do it. But yeah, really, they mop up the blood and they go over your check sheet of check this to see if the baby's healthy. Yeah.
So.
And then do they do all the recording of birth, or is that something you guys do, or?
I think ish.
Yeah, it seems like they would.
My wife kind of deals with more of the paperwork.
Yeah, I'll blame you there.
So
you said that. So you weren't concerned about her being skinny.
I get comments that she's bigger than some 6-year-old boys now. Same size, skinny, but it just took a while, and then after after I think it was about 10 months to a year, she started really putting on weight, and now you saw her.
Yep. And she didn't need a helmet. Her head looks just fine.
Yeah.
So was Tatiana working?
No.
So Tatiana was home, and she did all the feedings, right from the source. If Tatiana went to Meyer,
yes.
And that was in case she needed to latch on, type thing.
Yeah.
So, because with the other two, Tatiana would leave a food source at home because she was working somewhere.
When she would go to the farmer's market for farm produce business. But last year, we did that. She took both kids with her pretty much every time.
Okay.
Where I couldn't go to market anymore, so I stayed home.
Stay home, work on the farm.
Yep.
So feeding the children has never been a real part of your responsibility.
A little bit. I've been feeding her dinner. I feed her tons of solid food. I feed her 3 or 4 of those Gerber cups, and she just wolfed them right down, no problem.
Were you guys buying solid food or making solid food?
Both.
Okay. What were you making?
If we made anything, it was just like sweet potatoes grinded up, and she made the baby.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So what she was saying is what she could recall is like some vegetables out of your garden.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe whatever it was you had growing at that time.
Yeah.
And then she'd throw something in it, maybe breast milk, to make the vegetables more palatable. Whatever that word is.
Palatable.
Yeah. And then she would make like a little fruit smoothie, maybe some blueberries, some like that. And then she did say that potatoes and stuff like that. When did you guys start with her on solid foods?
It's been a couple months now. Since the beginning of summer.
Okay.
I would want to say maybe since April, because that's when Tatiana started working at her job. So basically, we were only going to let her was eating solid foods just fine.
Yep.
So I would say April.
Okay. And then that was supplementing nursing with solids. Has solids ever completely taken over? Was nursing still?
She still nurses, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what would you say was her primary, nursing or the solids? Or we can't say that?
I can't scientifically say. I'd say probably at this point we were really working on trying to make it more solid food only, especially because my wife's pregnant again. So, you know how that all works.
I do know how that works.
Right. So you know, we're trying to get her over to just be on solids.
Yeah. So you're more familiar with this than me, with having younger kids. Typically, at what age is it that they switch over to solids? Do you remember?
Nope.
Nope, me neither. Do you remember?
I don't.
Yeah.
I thought it was when they started teething, but
I'll bet you all of our wives know.
Right. Right. Yeah, you're supposed. I think you're supposed to transition it in starting at starting at 6 months. You're supposed to transition it in, and then by 2 years old, the kids are supposed to be
Okay. All right.
off the teat.
Off the teeth. So, I'm sorry.
Tatiana.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
That's my mistake. Tatiana would work, and when she started working, she started with fewer hours. She started working 4-hour shifts, I think it was.
Yeah, like 3-4 days a week. Yeah.
And then she moved up to, now she's working.
Basically full time.
Was it like 3 to 11?
3 to 11.
3 to
Yeah.
11, okay. When did that begin? You remember about when-ish?
July 4th.
Okay. So starting July 4th, did more of the responsibilities of...
Welch is being evasive with his answers. There is no possible way that he wouldn't know if he was feeding Mary more than his wife. She was working the majority of the day, so by default, he would have the baby in his care. Babies are on feeding schedules, and parents know exactly when and what they are being fed.
Yeah, I guess so.
So from 3 p.m., because I know obviously when Tatiana was there and she would nurse her, did she leave you bottles of breast milk to nurse her, or did you not nurse?
No, we just had, that's when I would give her solid food.
Okay. So she would leave work 2:30-ish, I'm assuming, and...
But what the normal schedule is Tatiana puts baby down at 2:30. I've got some time to kind of let my brain simmer down because get up and work in the morning.
Yeah.
So let my brain have some time to simmer down. Kids have quiet time, and then they're up again by 4:35. Or I might feed her 2 of the cups, pick her up for a half hour, walk around so the food settles, and then come back and feed her the rest, and then take her outside for an hour, hour and a half. Then bring her back and put her back down.
So dinner time is 5.
Yeah, it was nothing too. We're not too, regulated. We're not too uptight, but yeah, generally, she'd get up. Let's just say general timing, it'd be up again, 4:30 to 5. She'd eat 5:30, be back in bed by 6:30.
Okay. And then she'd be back in bed at 6:30. Then when was the next feeding?
A lot of times I think that's probably my wife breastfeeds her at night.
Oh, when she'd get home from work?
Yeah,
okay.
So I wouldn't really know about that.
Because you'd usually be in bed by then?
Yeah, so...
early mornings on the farm?
Yeah, so, so my wife might breastfeed her in the middle of the night, or breakfast time when she gets up again.
So typically speaking, that dinner meal would be because then she would sleep till your wife got home, and so that would be the last. So you have to just feed her really
once.
Once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if she wanted to goof off a little bit before feedings, you might split that once up into twice. So at what point did you guys become concerned about her weight?
Okay, so it's always kind of been there. It's always been something that we've watched. However, it never, I'll say it never seemed to cause, because it never did. But I just know you guys are watching my words, so it never caused her. Let's put it this way: she never was sickly in any way, slow, lethargic. No health indicators that said anything was wrong, other than that she was skinny, which I just didn't let it get to me, because, like I said, very skinny. She started putting on weight recently. We really started pounding the solid food down in the last month or so. Really making sure she gets some chicken, potatoes, cheese, stuff.
How recently was that?
A month or two.
Okay.
And
because that's what Tatiana said, is that probably the last month or two is when you guys actually became a little concerned about the weight.
Yeah, but I kind of was like, because my mom's always been honest about it. Always. She's
always on it. Get some food in this kid.
Yeah, she always says, yeah, wait, are you guys feeding her? Mom, go look at the garbage. I mean, I can't feed the kid enough.
Right.
She just,
when was the last time your mom was on you about it? But
here's the thing. Here's the thing. The last time my mom said something about it.
Oh, okay.
So that's why.
So you thought you were in the right direction. When was that?
Last week, Sunday.
Not this last Sunday, the one before that?
Yes.
Okay. And you were at your mom's, or she was at your place?
She was at our house.
And she thought that she was gaining weight?
She remarked that her cheeks seemed a lot fuller.
Okay.
Mary was at least 10 pounds underweight for her age. While this would not be a significant amount in a much older child, since factors such as height and body type come into play, for an infant, it is a sign that something is seriously wrong.
Remember that specifically.
So a month or two ago, you two became concerned and started putting some proteins to her, some chickens and cheeses and whatever, just trying to bulk her up a little bit. And did you believe it was starting to work?
I seemed to definitely notice that she was getting heavier. Tatiana mentioned it to me. My mom mentioned it to me, so I would say yes.
So Tatiana thought she was getting healthier too, and that she was getting bigger? Okay.
Because she's always been growing long, she's just never put the meat, never put the meat on.
Right, yeah. So Tatiana, correct me if this is wrong, Tatiana said that, and kind of what you said, but especially about the last month, you guys became concerned that you started very consistently and regularly, heartily praying over, Lord, help her gain weight. Does that sound right?
I don't, she may have. I haven't really been so much.
Okay.
But I'm glad to hear she was.
Yep. So you guys, you when she started losing her weight, you thought maybe it was just a growing spurt, and she had lost weight, and so she was getting. And is that what you attributed her? I'm sorry, not the weight loss, the sleeping, to a growth spurt. Is that what you attributed it to?
Yeah. I've done this, I think, maybe 3 times in the last week, where she slept so long I had to nudge Tatiana and make some jokes now that I.
Children suffering from malnourishment will often sleep for longer periods of time than those that are healthy, as their bodies attempt to conserve energy.
Yeah, I know.
But you don't really think too much of it at the time. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Then, where she had been sleeping for 15, 16 hours straight, and, Tati just went and woke her up, and she woke right up. Oh, look who's a hungry baby, kind of thing, So today when it happened, I didn't really think anything of it differently. I just thought it was, oh, another sleepy baby. You know, she was, especially, you know, my wife like keeps her up all morning, so she's just exhausted sometimes by the time she goes to bed. And you know, if she doesn't make a peep, if she doesn't make a sound, or if she's in there and, you know, everything, as far as I know, everything is fine when she's put down, I mean, I'm not inclined to wake the kid up.
Right, sure. But, so, do you bathe?
It might have been yesterday morning.
Because I'm saying, I'd imagine when Tatiana goes to work leaves at 2:30.
Oh, usually when she gets up to eat, I would change the diapers.
Then you got daddy duty, where you're changing diapers and stuff.
Yeah.
But Seth, here's the thing: is that she's so tiny. Was there never a time that you just like, well, there's something really wrong?
There was never a time where I thought there was something really wrong. I did say to Tatiana, you know, hey, you know, with her being the age she is, let's really try to see if, like, the protein, the fat and the protein, as her digestive system is developed, let's see if that kicks things into gear, and if not, you know, let's go see a doctor. Because, you know, she's a skinny little girl.
When did you have that conversation?
I think it might have been 2 weeks ago. Yeah, because even at that point I was just a little, you know, how's it going to hurt?
So 2 weeks ago, how much did you figure that she weighed?
I don't know.
Well, was she the same size now, smaller, bigger?
I don't know.
Okay. So today, tell me about today.
Even if Welch had truly been worried, by that point, it was far too late. At that size and age, there should have been efforts to get her medical attention within the first month.
I know it's tough.
Yeah, you know, I just kind of like woke up like a regular day. I wasn't feeling very well last night. So I kind of, I slept in because I didn't sleep very well. I think I rolled out of bed like 8 to 8:30 to care of some chores, and then I lay back down, and then my wife told me she was going to go right up the street to the neighbor's house to go get some kids, and when she came back, I woke up, and then I guess she decided, you know, tell me Mary stuff, and that's that.
So what did you do when she told you that?
I split out of bed and raced to the room, and you know,
so you're helpless, right? Like, what, you didn't know what to do.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I could tell she was dead from looking at her.
Welch does not react like a grieving father who has lost his child that very day. He's relaxed and happy, as if he doesn't have a care in the world. His reaction, combined with Mary's general health, is troubling.
But Tatiana couldn't.
She's a mom.
Right.
She's so.
Yep.
I'm used to dealing with a lot of dead bodies with the farm.
Yeah.
So I know what they look like. That was that.
So what did Tatiana do?
She tried to do CPR.
So were you in there when she was doing? Were you in the same room with her when she was trying CPR?
Yeah, yeah.
And then what were you doing?
She's the one who knows how to do all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I was looking and watching and
Just
thinking about what to do, thinking about, you know, just trying to think about what to do next.
So what did you do next?
Call my dad.
Okay, and then what did you tell your dad?
I don't know what to do.
What did he say?
Well, I kind of figured I was supposed to call the police. I don't know. I don't have any experience with it now.
Sure.
Well, I didn't then. I do now.
Right.
So I just called him and, you know, said, hey, should I call the police or what? I don't know how this works. And he said, yeah, we'll be on the way, call them when we get there kind of thing. It had been about an hour and some change, and I was starting to get impatient because I did not want to. I know how it looks when people wait to make a police call, so I just.
So you called prior to your...
So I got impatient. I called them. I'm like, are you guys here yet? Because it's like 11:05 now. I knew there was going to be a process too, so I wanted to get things going.
Yeah.
And they were in Cedar at the gas station, and they're like, yeah, we'll be there. And so then I called you guys.
So, because obviously you're an intelligent man, so obviously for us, and you just said it yourself, it looks weird, right? I'm saying you didn't know what you're doing, but in our world, we deal with this a lot, and so we don't know every single person in the county and everyone's personalities.
Sure. And I wanted to just call you guys first, but I was following my legal advice. So I'm sorry if that is a problem at all. I just doing what the lawyer told me to do.
No, and well, here's the thing. I'm not saying. I'm just telling you. I'm just confirming what you said. It looks weird. That's all. We're not saying that you did something horrible in those 2 hours. We're just saying that that's not the norm. So.
Sure.
So what did you guys do during the 2 hours?
We sat there and cried.
Yeah.
Tatiana called it her job.
Yeah.
We knew guests were coming.
Did you clean anything up?
Yeah, we cleaned up the house a little bit.
Why was that?
This is a mess. I knew we were going to have my parents over. So
Don't want Mom getting after you?
So we like...
So what all the house cleaning entail?
Wiping up the counter and sweeping the floor.
Okay.
This is hardly the time to be worried about what their family would think of their house. And Welch's nervous laugh is a sign that he is covering up his true intentions. During a previous CPS visit, it had been noted that the conditions were unclean.
How'd the kids handle it?
They don't really get it. They don't really get it. So.
But, Seth, here's the thing. Looking back, you can't even weigh 8 pounds right now. She only 8 pounds.
Okay.
She weighs 6 pounds. She's tiny. Was that never an alarm for you? Was it never an alarm like, man, she's not where she needs to be? I can see all of her bones.
Well, what I just told you in regards to that matter. So yes, there was, which is what I told you. I also generally, I don't...
Two of Welch's other children had never even seen a licensed doctor. Distrust of the medical profession is not an excuse to avoid seeking medical treatment for a child. And in light of Welch's history of abuse, this is most likely an excuse to avoid seeing any doctors that would notice the signs that the children are being neglected or abused.
I don't trust the medical system so much as other people. So when it says, oh, it needs to be this, the other, like I said, I had a doctor tell me she was mutant and needed a head-shaping helmet. I was told that she was underweight, fraudulently. I know how they work, and I know they're in business, and that healthy people don't make them any money.
So that kind of skewed your...
Yeah, it skewed the way, it changes the way that we do things a lot differently than most other people.
But looking at your daughter, looking back, you as a parent, as a father, didn't you have any concern for her, looking at her?
Yes, I did.
But you just didn't think it was concern that the medical field could fix?
One, I would say somewhat. Two, I was kind of more in that I have never encountered a health problem where basically if you don't do the right things and be patient, that it works itself out. especially with the kids. I get as we get older, there's other things. I was not happy about how thin she was, but I also, you know, have the belief that, you know, God didn't make us all, you know.
The same.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of chalked it up to that. I was not happy about how skinny she was. Just like, if you look in the house, you can see all the baby food. That's potatoes with chicken and cheese, and everything matches up with what I'm saying. I guess
The presence of food in the house is meaningless if it isn't being given to the child. There's also been some speculation that Welch bought the food before the police could search the house.
She was always very healthy. She was never sick.
She answered that way. So.
Yeah, so it never, if she had been sickly in any way, it would have been, okay, that's it. She's sickly and skinny. But she was always just skinny.
But Seth, that's where I'm going to disagree with you. Okay? I'm a parent. I'm a father. I have 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
He's a father. You're a father.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I'm just being honest with you. Okay? Because I don't know how to be anything other than. Okay? And I'm telling you right now, I've been doing this job for a long time. Okay? And he'll tell you when I walked in that bedroom today, all right, I started crying. Okay? I looked at that little baby, and I looked at her for a millisecond,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew that she wasn't right. And I knew that she wasn't right for some time. Okay? And you're her father.
Yep. And I'll tell you, I saw her when she was dead too. She was much more gaunt when she was dead than she ever was when she was alive. I mean, I got pictures on my phone. I'm.
Right, but let me ask you this: when's the last time you saw that baby without any clothes on in a bath?
Me, I've never given her a bath.
Okay, but you changed her diaper
Mm-hmm.
maybe a day and a half ago, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not putting words in your mouth. You said that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How did you not, when you looked at her a day and a half ago changing her diaper, and realize that my daughter is skin and bones? When I looked at her belly in the house, okay, and I'm not exaggerating this.
Oh, I know.
I could see the outline of her intestines through her stomach. I could see her spine completely through her back. I could see every one of her ribs through her chest.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, like I said, I'm not happy about it either. You know, you're welcome to go through my garbage and look at the baby food containers, and
Seth, here's the thing. I'm certainly not knocking on his faith. I have the same faith in the same creator that you have. Does your faith prevent you from allowing you to use medical services?
No.
So you would use medical services, or you would not? So it's just your experience that prevents you, not your faith.
No, in some ways, like for example, on the immunization, it started out with a rational concern, but yeah, faith-based, you know, you'd have to strap us down to a table and put it in there.
Okay. Does that apply to your children too?
Yes.
Okay. So you wouldn't do.
Would I do anything different? Oh yeah, I totally would. I would have listened to my elders. I would have taken her to go see a doctor.
Because that's what your parents were telling you.
You said your elders?
Yeah, you know, older people would say, oh, you know, she's, you know, like what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
So,
How far back would you go when you would do something different?
How far back would I go that I would do something different?
When would you taken her?
When would I have taken her?
Knowing what you know today.
Knowing what I know today, I would probably take all the kids to the doctor, at least for preliminary stuff.
No, I'm talking about looking back. Was it a week ago? Was it 2 weeks ago? Was it 3 weeks ago? Was it a month ago? When would you have done something different? When you know, this didn't happen overnight. She didn't get this malnourished and skinny overnight. Okay, this is a lengthy process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, And this has been going on for some time. That's what I'm asking. At what point, you knowing what you know today, if you could go back and reset the clock to try to prevent today, how far back do you think you would go?
I don't know, because I can't tell you. You know, maybe the first mention somebody had that I respected, that she was too skinny, that she was too
How
thin.
long ago was that?
I don't know. Like I said, she's been skinny since she was born.
So how many people that you respected have told you that?
My mom and...
He may not have realized it, but Welch has just admitted that multiple trustworthy people had told him that there was something wrong with his daughter. He had knowledge that there was a problem and chose to ignore it.
My mom.
How was your dad? You probably figured Dad's just back in your mom's play?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So, today, at what point today did you and or Tatiana think, this doesn't look good? The size of her, all of this doesn't look good.
Today?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't... we kind of, like, woke up and she was dead, so...
No, but I mean after that, when you were thinking that this is like, as far as it doesn't look good that we didn't get her the medical treatment or whatever, at what point today did you think that?
I don't know. I guess I haven't really worried about it too much.
Okay. Did Mom feel concerned because of she knew the weight was so low, or what was your discussion like with her about that?
Yeah, she just mentioned that she's skinny.
Okay.
But you know, the thing is that it's like, yeah, she was skinny, but that would be like the only thing. It's like, okay, she's not skinny, and then she'd be fat, and it's just like, you know, everybody's always got something to nitpick about a baby kind of thing.
No, you're right about that. But Seth, there is a difference, and I have pictures. There is a difference between and Mary.
No, I know she was thin.
No, wasn't thin.
Yes, I know. I picked her up. I know how skinny she was. It used to hurt. What am I going to do? Like inject her with liposuction? And what is the doctor's going to do?
But, because here's the thing.
There's more. You know what the leading cause of death in this country is, don't you?
Well,
yeah, it's medical malpractice.
It is. I'll give you that.
It's more dangerous. It's more dangerous to take your kid to the doctor than to leave them alone.
That's not what most people think. Most people think it's cops, but...
I get what you're saying.
So there you go.
No, I get what you're saying on it, because there's some stats that go along with some of this. But here's what I'm saying, though, is on this case, when we know, because I know you guys are doing what you're saying you're doing. I know you're feeding them protein. We can see it. We're not dumb either. We can look around the house like, these guys are piling food in this girl. So when that's not working, then we know there's something. There's Crohn's disease, there's diabetes. There is a disease that has to be that's not allowing this girl to absorb the nutrients for these foods, and you know that.
Yeah, you're correct. I do know that. I guess I never thought of it. Where there's no family history. Like I said, recently, regardless of what the pictures show, you know, people who've been around her for 10 months, you know, commented. We all noticed that she was getting bigger. So I was just like, oh, finally, okay, we're through that stage. I was worried for a little bit there, but she's putting on the weight now. You know, she's clearly getting heavier. So I kind of thought we were through it.
Let me ask you an honest answer. Do you feel responsible in any way for what happened today?
I feel like that's a bit of a trap question, but
no. Or do you just
stay honest?
Or do you think it's just God's will?
Well, just because it might be God's will doesn't mean that there's not some that it's not his will according to our actions, or it doesn't mean that we're not responsible in some way for what has come about. And so I take responsibility on myself for anything that goes wrong in my life at all. Even if it's totally not my fault, what could I have done? You know, I'm sure you had something like that in Marine Corps, you know, where it's just like, you're not always in control of everything, but take care of what's on your end to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And
you gotta watch your six.
Yeah. So, you know, for me, do I take some responsibility? Oh yeah, I'll never forget it. And I doubt there'll be like 30 minutes where if Tatiana carries this baby to term and you guys let us keep it, I doubt there'll be 30 minutes where there's not somebody checking through the people with a light on in the room.
How did that hole get in the door again?
About 5 years ago, when I styled myself a patriot and a gun nut and all that good stuff, all that cool right-wing stuff, I was working on my AK in the gas tube. I was a total idiot, and like the gas tube was stuck, and I was trying to bang it in there, and I went, and the hammer flew out the back of my hand right into the door.
Hey, if the AK don't work, get a hammer.
Well, why is Tatiana saying she put the hole in the door? That's what I'm confused about.
Because she went through a lot when she was a kid. Her memory can sometimes be a little about details and stuff like that. So I don't know why she'd say that.
Welch's wife had been conditioned to take the blame if she didn't want to be punished, which is why she lied about the hole.
Well, we're going to get you guys out of here in a second, but
I have a difficult question to ask you, because I'm asking this, and maybe it was asked, but I know I'm going to be asked this question in the morning. So, have you or Tatiana or your mother and father back at the house, did anybody talk about funeral arrangements, what funeral home you would like her to go to, or?
Yeah, we've kind of touch and go dealt with it.
okay. Something you guys got to start thinking about.
Yeah, I take it I can't just like bury her under an apple tree or something like that. No.
Callously, Welch asks whether or not he can just bury his daughter under a tree in an obvious attempt to avoid funeral costs.
You have to ask. We don't know all the rules of burying and stuff. I don't know. Maybe you can get a permit to do something like that.
Yeah, or you got to Google it maybe.
Yeah. I have no idea. But you can't just bury her under, like, without getting some kind of process, as far as we know. So.
Yeah, my mom said she knows people, so she'd do it somehow.
The other difficult thing here is, and I know you're not going to be happy with it, okay, but I need to collect your phone as evidence as part of this investigation,
sure.
Okay? One of the things, is there a passcode on your phone? No? Okay. There's two ways that I can go about getting into your phone, okay? I have a form either in here, and if I don't, I can run down the hall and get one.
There you go.
Okay. No, I wasn't doubting you. But there's two ways. We have a lab here in Grand Rapids that we bring these phones to when they get processed. Basically what they do is they make an image of the hard drive on your phone, and then we can return the phone back. Okay. But in order for me to go through your phone, it's not like I'm going to walk out of here and go back to my desk and start looking at everything on your phone, because I can't do that unless you do one of two things. There's two ways that I can do that. I have a consent form that I will allow you to read and sign if you would like to provide me with consent to go through your phone, or I can petition the court for a search warrant to go through your phone. It's up to you.
That's fine.
So,
Let's do it.
Do the consent form? Okay.
Can I like just go through my messages first and clear everybody up?
No, it's got to stay the way it is.
Okay.
Let me see if I have that form. And then as soon as I get your phone back from the lab, I'll try and get it over to the lab tomorrow. And if I can get your phone back to you by the end of the day tomorrow, I will. Otherwise, I'll get it to you as soon as I can.
Or are you just gonna like bring it to the house or something?
I'll run it to the house, or if you have another, like, you probably don't have another phone number for me to call you at. Seth, remind me, what was your middle name again?
Michael.
Birthday? Today is the 2nd, right? Alright, if you want to take a minute and just read that form, and then if you're okay with that, just sign it right there when you're done reading it. Something I'm going to do in your presence.
See, just so you know that she's not. She doesn't look emaciated to you, does she?
Not in that picture,
Yeah.
no. I'm going to put your phone in airplane mode in your presence.
Okay.
That way, nothing else can come into the phone while we have it, and nothing can go out, obviously. So, you know what this is? An iPhone what? It's 8 or 6,
maybe 5. I don't know.
Okay. All right, give me 5 minutes, and we're going to get you and Tatiana right home, okay?
Great, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
The police will search not only Welch's text messages, but photos as well, to see if they can get a timeline of Mary's decline in health. Seth Welch was charged with homicide, felony murder in August 2018. In 2020, he was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Following the death of Mary, CPS sought to terminate the parental rights of Welch and Fusari.